morning. Are you sleeping or already awake? Good morning. Thank you, first of all, for Pastor Billy and Pastor Sonny for allowing me. It's such an honor and opportunity. You have a very wonderful worshiper. It's like I can tell the heaven is like falling in right here. It's a taste of heaven. Nothing is more beautiful rather than in the presence of God. And I'll be speaking about more later about the presence of God. Amen. And Angie, we miss you. Good to see you. You look so different. You look way mature now. I guess the church has transformed you so much. Glad to see you. It's amazing. Amen. And praise God, I have a new brother, same name, Herry, and he's Herry. He's such a very good host. You choose the right man to become a host right away. He tell me this and this. I can tell he is a very structured and systematic guy. And praise the Lord. Amen. Here's the thing. Before I started, I just wanted to give a funny story. And you know, I'm an introvert guy. An introvert, it's like, I don't scream when I preach. And sometimes being introvert, when I try to tell a funny story, joke, they don't laugh. And then when I tell something that's not supposed to be funny, they laugh. So again, if you're confused whether this pastor tried to make a humor, a joke, or not, and you're confused, if not funny, you laugh anyway, okay? Anything that you can support me to laugh, it'll be great. Because it's always a joy when you listen to somebody laugh, right? How many of you want to listen to somebody angry? No, right? When somebody laughing, it's like bringing so much joy and spark and happy face, and you go home very much refreshed and strength. Amen? So here's the thing. The story is about husband and wife. This husband and wife has been married for 25 years. And the husband have anger issue. And finally, the husband decided to take the anger management class. When he took the anger management class for a few weeks, and after, at the end of his done, and then he learned so much, and he coming back home very optimistic, and he was so excited, and then he asked the wife, honey, by the way, you know I have the anger issue, and you know, by having husband with an anger issue, I know your life miserable. Your life must be really hard. But what amazed me is you all seems to be very peaceful and calm. Even when every time I'm angry at you and I lash it out, you still fine. You look so peace and calm. Which I have to take the anger management class and still take me some time, try to cope and learn how to deal with my anger. By the way, what did you do? How you can cope with your being accepting me with all the anger issue? You seems to be peace. And then the wife says like this, you know, honey, when you get angry, right after that, I go to the bathroom and I wash the toilet bowl. And the husband wonder, what does that something to do? You are peaceful washing toilet bowl. It doesn't ring the bell in the anger management class. They don't tell me that. What does it that nothing to do? And she said, you know, when I wash the toilet bowl for like an hour, I use your toothbrush. And I feel so calm on that one. You know, if you laugh hard, probably you use your toothbrush of your husband or your wife, okay? When you go home, make sure next time put your toothbrush on the safety box. It will be coming to you safetier. Amen. So the reasons I tell you this is about because the message today it's about peace, the path of peace. We live in the world where peace, everybody talks about it. Everybody desired. Everybody wanting it so bad. And however, not everybody can live in peace. And today I want to take a Christmas moment to speak about peace because our God has been called as Prince of Peace. And in the Old Testament, the concept of peace is not just in the New Testament. It's not just in the concept right here. But back long time ago on the day of Moses when God has been called as Jehovah Shalom, meaning God of peace. What does it tell you? From the beginning, our God is the God of peace, reincarnate through Jesus as a Prince of Peace, and He provided to you so that all of you can live in peace, right? So before I start, I want you to read the Word of God together with me. Can you honor the Word of God and stand up and let's read the Word together with me? Can you show the first slide? Ready? Oh, okay. 3, 2, 1. He has sent us a mighty Savior from the royal line of His servant David, because of the tender mercy of God, by which the rising sun will come to us from heaven, to shine on those living in the darkness and in the shadow of death, to guide our feet into the path of peace. You may be seated. Give your neighbor a smile and say the path of peace. This is the prophecy of Zechariah. Basically, the prophecy of Zechariah have a two-part. The first part is speaking about Jesus. The second part about John the Baptist. John the Baptist is his son. And on the part of Jesus, he speaks that by the tender mercy of God, God will send someone that will shine between the darkness and in the shadow of death to guide us into the path of peace. I don't know about you, but I do need the peace from God to live. If you are right now seeking peace, today you listen to it. And I guarantee you when you listen to the message and you apply in your life, you will experience the abundant peace that is flowing, that you will be content and satisfied in whatever the condition that you have. Amen? So I want you to see the statistic here. Can you show the statistic? Okay, good. Basically, it's this. If you don't have peace that is flowing from you, you will be depressed with your life. I don't know if you are right now living in peace or you depressed with your life. Okay? The statistic says 2 out of teens, that's a typo, not teens, okay? 2 out of 3 teens is depressed. So meaning if there is 3 young men, young women, 2 of them are living in the depression. Only 1 living not in the depression. Number 2, what we can learn, depression leads people to suicide. And suicide was really, really increased right now. Even the FFC, the department that handle communication, they will set up just like 911, but only for suicide. They just established that and it's going to be coming soon. What does it tell you? That must be a crisis right now. Suicide, it's really, really increased right now. When people suicide, meaning they depress, they lose hope, they don't have peace deep inside, they think that will be a solution. Amen. Depression costs $210 billion each year in the healthcare. Now, I want you to see a photo probably you have been seeing this photo on the social media. Can you show the next slide? Okay. You know all of this guy, right? Right? It's going on the social media. Anthony Bourdain. He's a very famous celebrity. He's a chef. Robin Williams, very funny guy, entertainer. I love his movie. I always laugh and enjoy his movie because he is really, really entertainer. Kate Spade, very famous, talented, gifted. And then in the bottom, it's a pastor. It's a pastor, successful, and mega church. It's not no member, it's a mega church. What is the similarity with them? They are successful, right? They are gifted, well, famous. What is the other similarity with them? They commit suicide. Okay? The next slide. This is from America. Now this is from Korea. How many of you watching K-pop? Or watching Korean? Okay. After this, it's okay. You get a chance to repent, okay? Amen. You love me by telling you the truth, right? So, you know the one on the left? Who is that girl? Huh? Whoa, you must watch a lot, huh? And how about in the middle? Wow, you're so good. Okay, after this, you need to meet with Pastor Billy and have a counseling session, okay? And this one? Chan In-ho. And Suli has been defined by the police on the report. He commits suicide. These two, still, a lot of people suspect they're suicidal too, because they are still below 30, healthy, but they die so young. Unless if this girl and this man already 80 or 90s, we understand probably died because of heart attack or something. But so young. What does it tell you with this? Does that sound similar with the first picture? Right? It's young, this man famous, rich, well, gifted, but there's suicide. From all of those two pictures, what we can learn? Your money, your fame, your gift, even your looks, right? It doesn't give you peace. The peace that the world offers still cannot satisfy deep inside of you. Look at this. All of them are so famous, rich, and everything. This is today what I'm going to learn. If so far you work so hard, you think money can bring you peace. You think your school can bring you peace. Even you think your ministry can bring you peace. That's all wrong. There are three things that you need to pursue on this tree, and when you leave this place, you're gonna be living under the abundant peace in your life. Amen? So there are three paths of peace. Can you show the first one? Can you stand up to honor the word of the Lord? 3, 2, 1. And his name will be called a Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Eternal Father, and Prince of Peace. You may be seated. The word peace, arene. Arene meaning calm. Calm, quiet, tranquility. Meaning that you feel so good. It's just like when you sleep without a dream and you are so rested very well. You are really, really in peace. That's the word peace itself, okay? The word prince, speaking about kingdom. Prince about kingdom, when kingdom meaning speaking about authority. The word authority meaning that peace only can be moved, peace only can be commanded only by Jesus, because he is the Prince of Peace. So the number one that you need to do is you have to believe in Jesus. Say with me, believe in Jesus. I want to tell you first before I give you some of the testimony. The peace that Jesus gave is the two kind of peace that you need to learn. The number one, can you show the next slide? This is the peace that Jesus promised to you. Number one, the peace that Jesus gave, the peace that under the command of change, the chain of command under Jesus is the peace that the world couldn't give. The world also can give peace, but there is peace that the world cannot give. Jesus says like this, I'm leaving you with what? A gift, a peace of mind and heart. And the peace I give is a gift the world cannot give. So don't be troubled or afraid. So the peace that Jesus gave is the peace that the world cannot give. The world offer you fame. How many of you want to be famous? Tell your neighbor, do you really honest or you don't honest? Come on. How many of you have social media? Okay, Facebook, Instagram, right? Why you want to be in Instagram and social media? We realized if we want to be honest, we don't want to be invisible, right? We want people to know us, right? You know, in our church, we have someone that almost close to 1 million YouTuber. Young guy, but he is so hard many times losing peace. And he learns now that actually the more member is not the more peaceful that he has. But because of that, his passion, he want to bring influence. So what the world give is different with Jesus give. Jesus give the peace that is not the world over. Many of us, I live in Seattle, where wheat, how many of you know wheat? It's not the wheat on your backyard, okay? It's different wheat. So why? A lot of teenagers, now it's going on, it's smoke weed in Seattle. Why? Because deep inside, they don't have that peace and they think that weed will bring peace. Alcohol, right? That is not the peace that Jesus offered to you. The peace that Jesus offered to you is from the inside, flowing abundantly. The number two, the peace that Jesus gives is the peace that is beyond your fun time. Amen. It's beyond trouble. How many of you think that when you're on vacation, you are peaceful? Right? Even though after that, you go home, you get headache because of the bill coming up, you lose the peace. Even though you are in Disneyland, right? The more happiest place on earth, yet you cannot be happy there. The concept of peace in the world is the concept where everything is smooth. Your work is smooth. Your health is good. What happened when out of the blue, the doctor says, I'm sorry, I have to break the news. You have cancer, stadium 4. Do you still have peace on that one? Have you ever asked that question? Or if you get fired, right away, are you lash out to your dog, your cat, your parents, or your neighbor, or you still have peace? There is a good principle that I want to let you know. The word trouble is what most people don't prepare. There is a principle, I call it FUCA. Can you show the next slide, FUCA? FUCA is a system, is a lessons were taught by the U.S. Army War College. This system is founded by them to train the high-rank army officer and at the same time to train the government officer, not just military, but also government officer, to prepare them to the worst, okay? The fee here, volatility, U, uncertainty, C, complexity, A, ambiguity. What is fee? Change is uncontrollable. So, your life eventually, out of the blue, it can be changed. Everything what you hold out of the blue, that can be changed. In the simple language, it's a problem. So, problem can come uncontrollable. If you understand this principle, basically this principle were taught so that they prepare all the unpredictable. As U.S. soldier, as the people that will lead a lot of people, they have to prepare for the worst. In order for you to be ready to prepare for the worst, you have to prepare that worst that is unpredictable, so that all the unpredictable become predictable. Do you get it? You understand, or you want me to repeat that one? So, all of those unpredictable actually predictable if you predict that unpredictable. So when that is coming to you, you're ready for it. You understand that? And then the future is also unpredictable. How many of you know your future already? No, right? Problem can be multi-dimensional and chaotic. Sometimes problem can come not only one, sometimes bringing a lot of friends and they have a group coming to your life. From all angles, from all directions, just flooding right there. And then sometimes you don't know what's going on out of the blue. All of this problem is just coming in and you don't know, unclear what caused the problem on it. Does that sound familiar with you? Right? So, look, even the founder of Amazon, Jeff Bezos, he speaks the FUCA of the future of his company. Show the next slide. Look, this is in the Business Insider, okay? He says like this, Amazon turned 25 today, which according to Jeff Bezos means it will die in as little as 5 years of time. So if you have stock, Amazon stock, you better sell it as fast as possible, okay? No, I'm just kidding on that one. But he already predict that Amazon someday will be gone. He knows that Amazon is replaceable, even though now is one of the richest, but replaceable. And then he was asked, are you worried? Look, the answer. Next slide. I don't worry about it because I know it's inevitable. Company comes, company go. He understands. Amazon is like shares in the past. Shares is like Amazon. Everybody waiting for the catalog and then order. But now, shares gone. Right? MySpace, how many of you live in the generation of MySpace? You're probably too young on that, huh? How about Friendster? Right? Where are they now? Gone. Right? You agree? Okay. Now, what Jesus says here. This is Jesus' FUCA. Can you show the next slide? Oh, no, not that one. Go back. Yeah. Okay, let me read it for you. It says like this. I have told you this thing so that you in me, you may have peace. In this world, you have what? Trouble. What does he tell you? When Jesus says this, Jesus 2,000 years ago, I give you peace, okay? Because in this world, you will have blessing. Trouble. What is trouble? Smile to your neighbor. I'm so amazed you don't have trouble. You seem to be okay, right? So can you believe it? That Jesus already speak future. Hey, look, your future, you're going to have trouble. But thank be to God, He is the Prince of Peace, already saying it like this. You know what? In that trouble, hear the peace that I give to you. The peace that Jesus gives is surpass all the trouble. So your peace is not based on your problem. Many of us having peace because of our circumstances. But the peace that Jesus offers is the peace beyond all the problem in our life. How many of you hear this quote before? Many times Jesus make miracles to calm you in the storm. No. Many times Jesus, when you're in the storm stop. He calm the storm. But many times He let you to go through the storm on that one. But He calm you, the one in the storm. But however, you have to have the peace that Jesus have in you. You have to believe in Jesus. Tell your neighbor, you better believe in Jesus. Okay? Number 2. Let's read together. Can you stand up? 3, 2, 1. Say with me, you remain faithful in my teaching. Say with me, who believe in Him. Now, you may be seated. How many of you believe in Jesus? Okay. How many of you knows that you really believe in Jesus? You know that you really believe in Jesus? How do you know that what you believe in Jesus is what you believe that is the right one, that you believe in Jesus? If I have Rolex, this is just Apple, okay, not Rolex. I can say this is Rolex. Wait a minute, that's not Rolex, right? That must be characteristic, right? The first one is believe in Jesus. Everybody agree you believe in Jesus. Let me ask again to make sure. How many of you believe in Jesus? Okay. How do you know that you really believe in Jesus? Did I lose you or? You see, I already tell you I'm introvert. I'm a teacher, okay? If you don't follow up carefully, I can lose you on that one. How do you know if you believe in Jesus? Another question to ask. How many of you believe your husband loves you? That I don't dare to raise up my hand, Pastor. Okay, if not, then how many husbands you know that your wife loves you? Okay, at least husband so confident, all right? Okay, how do you know if your wife loves you? Do you want me to say just amen and then I close it and pass it to Pastor Billy? How do we know? How do you know on that? Hey, husband, wife, or young people here, if all the three girls in the back here, I know you probably don't have boyfriend yet, right? I teach you a little bit. If someone come to you texting you 10,000 a day, say, I love you and I love you and I love you, don't trust that one. Prove it. Love is not word, right? Love is action. If you believe, your belief is not just word. Your belief has to be action. Look at what Jesus is saying. Jesus says, not to those who don't believe, but those who believe. Those who believe, you are truly my disciple. And then he said, if you remain faithful in my teaching. So if you believe in Jesus, you have to obey God. Obedience is something that people don't like to listen. But there is no Christianity without obedience. There is no belief without obedience. Your obedience equals what you really, truly believe. When you believe, it's only as equal how deep you believe with your obedience. I want to show you 4 categories that I developed to categorize people in terms of belief. Can you show the next slide? Next one. Before that, there you go. There are 4 people in terms of belief. The first one, the real atheist. The real atheists don't believe in God and act like God doesn't exist. That's the real atheist. The second one, atheist Christian. Very little bit unique. Who don't believe in God, but they get offended when there is a 10 commandment in the city hall. When somebody gathering to pray, they get offended. So actually, they said, I don't believe in God. If they don't believe in God, people do something for the sake of the God that you don't believe is exists, just treat them, they're crazy. But yet they get offended, which actually deep inside they know that the God that is purple that they don't believe is powerful. That is why they get offended. So I call it atheist Christian. The third one, Christian atheists who believe in God and act like God does not exist. The fourth one, who believe in God and act like God does exist. You believe and you act like God exists too. Through what? Obedience. Now, I want you to turn to your neighbor. Which one that you are under this category for? Come on, turn your neighbor and ask. Remember, I preach a message of peace, so everybody in peaceful right now. They not get offended with you. Either you are a real atheist, you are the atheist Christian, or you are the Christian atheist, or you are the real Christian. What is obedience? Something to do with peace. Okay, let's see the slide. Can you show the slide that you showed before? Look at this. Let's stand up. I really love this verse. This verse is one of the verses that really inspired me a lot. 3, 2, 1. Oh, that you had listened to my command, then you will have peace flowing like a gentle river and righteousness rolling over like a wave in the sea. Say with me, oh. And then listen. And peace. You may be seated. What happened when you say, whoa? You're amazed, right? So God said, whoa, you're obeying. Because you obeying, then what happened? You will have peace. And then that peace will flow like a river. No wonder you don't have peace, even though you already become 30 years as a Christian. You hardly to sleep. I know people that is so successful and believe in God, but yet they still need medicine to sleep every night. because they don't have peace, so much worry? The answer is this. So you believe, you obey. So if your room, what you say you just believe, okay, but you never obey, then you will never go to the next step, the peace that will overflow in you. Amen. You still love me? Let me ask again. You still love me by saying the truth to you? Right? So see, obedience is very important. Never a dream that you will have peace with disobedience. Let me repeat again. Never have a dream. No matter you are on the top of the world, no matter you are very successful, no matter you are on the first class, no matter your house have a 5 swimming pool, let me tell you, you will never have peace in that kind of greatness of the world without you are obeying God. Obeying is the standard that God gave because He is the Prince of Peace. Peace only can be moved when there is obedience. That is why God said, whoa, because people obey and then they will have peace on it. Pastor, but why follow God is so hard? Why have to be obedience? Why God have to put it 1, 2, 3 if you follow me? Why is so hard to follow God? 10 commandments, this rule, and it's so hard as if like to enter the kingdom of heaven is just like much easier, the camel to enter to the needle rather than we enter the kingdom of God. Let me tell you this. All of you here, when God asks you to obey, okay, not even 1% the benefit of obedience, it goes to God. Let me repeat again. When you obey, when God asks you, obey this, not one single of that thing that God asks you will benefit God. All things that God put it, all the law, all the rule that God put it, the benefit goes to you. I have one picture. Beware alligator. Can you show the next slide? Okay. No swimming alligator. Okay. If there is a pond without that announcement, information, how many of you will be happy if there is thing? No swimming, that's command, right? How many of you would love to have this being taken off? You love this being taken off from the pond? You'll be happy this one on the pond, right? Because otherwise, without this, you just swim and you'll be gone, right? So when the city put this, who reap the benefit? The city or the people? The people. It's not the city. The city is to save you and to protect you from being eaten by the alligator. Yet with this being attached, this guy, Tommy Woodward, still stubborn. He still try, probably I'm stronger than alligator. I feel bad. I have empathy, but I'm so sorry. It's already clear. No swimming, alligator, he still swim. There is consequences. When God put the law, put here, don't do this, the benefit goes to you. If you don't do it, there'll be consequences. And that is generation after generation, even on the day of Moses. When God attached, people not happy, just like we, when our parents say something, we rebel against our parents because we don't understand. We think that our parents make it so hard of our life. But our parent is always all good for our benefit, but we don't believe, we don't trust, and we rebel on it. And look, show the next slide. I'll be done in 10 minutes. The water cleansing ordinance, I want to prove it to you theologically so that you understand. The next time you will have no complaint anymore that to follow God, it's so hard and I'm so tired following God because put so much thing for us to obey. Trust me, obedient 100% all goes to you, the benefit. Look at this. In the number 19, verse 11 to 12. Whoever touched the dead body, whoever touched a human corpse will be unclean for 7 days. They must purify themselves with the water on the third day, and the seventh day, then they will be clean. Remember, the Israelites live on the desert where everybody on the tent, right? They live close each other. So if there are 2 million, if only 0.1% died every day, at least thousands every day pass away among those 2 million, right? So whoever touched the dead body, they have to be declared unclean for 7 days, right? You read it, right? So, and then he has to be separated, quarantine, because they are unclean. On the third day, they have to wash in the water of purification on the third day. And then get into their tent again. And then what happened? 7th day, wash it again with the water of purification. And they will be declared unclean. They will be declared clean. You get it here? Okay? Now, you know that our body have bacteria and virus, right? But however, our immune system able to suppress it. The blood also fighting on it. So it's not multiply beyond. But once we die, we are dead, nobody suppress that virus and bacteria. It's going to multiply crazy. That is why infection, it can be there. You get it on that one? So imagine someone touch and then it's kind of like unsanitized and then eating, how many people will be infected and then become epidemic? And how many people have to die? Do you get it? So when so many people have to die, then God break his promise to Abraham that your children will be blessed. Those who curse will be cursed. Those who bless will be blessed. He promised that your children will be just like a star on heaven and the sand on the ocean. Right? So that's his promise. So he has to fulfill that promise. That is why God knows, wherever touch the dead body, don't again live just like normal. You are unclean. Okay? Now, what is the water purification? Next slide. On the verse 6 and 9, the water purification, the water to purify them, made from cedar, hyssop, scarlet wool, and bull. They burn together, and that one. And then the ashes, they mix it up with water. And then there's what people wash their hand. And then get in on the third day, and then get out again on the 7th day, wash it again, and declare unclean. Thank you so much. Declare clean. Okay, next slide. In the old days, every household on the around 1800, they have to make their own soap. There is no grocery, no supermarket. So thank God, all millennials, you better thankful that you live in this day. Otherwise, you have to do like this under the heat and then the fire to do that. And do you know the material to make soap in the old days? Now what you see is the bar and you go just to Target or Bad Buddy and beyond. Easy, right? But the way the material to make soap is from tallow, lye, wood ashes, and water. Amazingly, On the day Moses is better because they put the hyssop. Hyssop is like healing oil. Hyssop is like a lot of disinfectant, is kind of like to sanitize. Can you believe it that 4,000 years ago, God instructed the day of Moses, a technology, it's a soap, so that there'll be no epidemic. God put it under the law to protect and to save. And yet, what happened? The Israelites angry. Why you make it so hard to follow you? That is why God called them a stiff neck. You feel sabul, right? I don't know how to translate sabul, right? When as a father and mother, your children, you tell them what is the best and they argue and complain as they don't believe. That's exactly what happened. Why is so hard? Third day, seventh day, and I have to be alone on the tent? Come on. Just touching the dead body. Right? Next slide. Dr. Ignaz Semmelweis, a doctor from the 1800s. At one time, he feels so bad because in his hospital, the death rate is 18%. 1 out of 6, every woman who delivered the baby, either the wife, the woman, the children, either one died or both dying because of infection. And it's going on so strong. He got frustrated and depressed, and finally he was instructed to live on sabbatical. To make the story short, what happened? His friend also died, a doctor from another hospital, and then he visited and he see the medical report. What happened? His friend died because of infected. Do you know why he was infected? Because his doctor also teach the medical student that do the autopsy for the dead body, touching, and then they wash on the same basin. You said, now, whoa, we understand now, but back then they don't understand. So they wash together, and then they perform surgery, and in the middle they get cut. The doctor get cut and they get infected because the symptom is the same like the symptom when the mother was died. Everything, all the death symptom is the same. So, and then he tried to figure out, and when he found out, because they shared the basin, he saw the real root of the problem. And guess what? He started to make a change in his hospital. So he has to tell every doctor, the one that teach the medical student, they have to be separated in washing, and then the medical student also have their own basin, wash it up, use a soap that they develop, and clean, and guess what? The death rate going down. Imagine if this doctor read from the Bible. How many women doesn't need to die, right? Now you understand that how important it is to obey God. So obedience is never for God's benefit, but for your benefit. When God says, forgive, the hardest thing even, forgive those who hurt you. And not just stop there. Bless them. That's hard or easy? It's very hard. But if you do it, the benefit goes to you. Try everything what God's spoken here. You obeying 100%, not 99, 100%. Peace will rule inside of you. You don't have to go to Disneyland anymore to get peace. You don't have to fly first class to get peace. You don't have house with 5 swimming pool. You don't have to have Mercedes. I have only Honda Civic, but I'm so peaceful while I'm driving. Even though on the road, so many road rage with all the middle finger, with all the curses, but I'm so peaceful. Bless this man, oh God. Why? because we tend to learn to be in the obedience. Amen. You still love me? The last one is the most important thing. Can I take another 3 minutes? Okay, thank you. How many of you agree with me? I take another 3 minutes. If not, I'm just gonna close it. Okay, smile to your neighbor. Thank you for you. Okay. Okay. Can you stand up? I have told you this thing so that in me you may have peace. In this world you will have trouble. The next slide. Truly my soul finds rest in God. You may be seated. Who wrote the first one? John. Who wrote this one? David. What is the same thing here? Even though they are like 3,000 apart. In me, right? Who is that? In God, right? It says, I have told you this thing, that in me you will have peace. He comfort that in the world you will have trouble, but if you are in me, you will have peace. David says also, truly my soul find rest. The word rest meaning peace in God. See, God never changed. His way, it's always the same. What he did, that in God you will find rest to David, at the same thing in the New Testament also the same. God says this, if you are in me, I'm in you, right? This is speaking closeness. This is speaking about relationship with God. David, in God, he find peace. Jesus says, you want to have peace, you have to be in me. Okay? I have this. Have you ever seen this? No? Okay. What is this? Balloon, right? How about this? Balloon with smiling face, right? Like, just like you. When you come to the church, right? You smile, everything seems to be okay. How many of you ever thought that Robin Williams is sad or commit suicide? No, he is an entertainer, right? The pastor also still do the ministry and preaching. All good, smiling. And then in this world, you will have fun. Who said trouble? The world say in the world, you have fun. You only live one, YOLO, right? And then you live whatever you want it. But remember, in this world, Jesus already speak, you will have trouble. That's your future. That is unpredictable, that you have to predict, that you prepare. However, here's the thing. This is, I know somebody probably don't have pop. This is fire. Let's see if this is work. Okay? It works, right? If I put this, what happened? You sure?
Think so.
You think so? Okay, let's try, yeah? If your heart weak, close your ear, okay? And after this, God will give you a strong heart. I'll try, yeah? Oh, it popped, right?
Yeah.
That's the piece that you have probably right now. When you got bullet, you got fire, boom, you exploded. From 1 to 10 right away, you lash it out. Even your cat scared when you're coming back home, right? Even in the church, people scared of you. Because you cannot just lash it out to everybody on that one. Or in the workplace. Fire can come all over the place, right? Fire, another one, before I speak. ashamed. That's your declaration, God. Don't have strong heart, and fix me, and you will have strong heart after that. Okay. Doesn't pop. Same balloon. Now it's popped. Why? Because inside is a water. God says, I'm a living water. Right? If I hit on different one, supposed to be, it stay on that one. But I hit the same place. What happened? When you have God inside of you, if you have the presence of God, you'll be unstoppable. The peace that you have, you will keep continue and going on and going on and going on, and you will be just experiencing peace with any trouble with your life. You still have that peace. Amen. When you enjoy the only one, the presence of God, is the thing that main thing to you. You don't make God as your ATM machine. ATM machine, you only come. How many of you sleep with the place where there is ATM, you stay overnight there? No. You come, hit the money, leave. Many times we treat God like that. Moses, David as example. Moses says like this, don't send me to the promised land if your presence doesn't go with me. Moses, before that, he almost committed suicide because he cannot bear it. The Israel really annoying and complainer. And he's about to commit suicide. But God restored in his presence. And that is why he knows, I cannot live to become a leader without the presence of God. So please don't send me to the promised land without your presence. How many of you will say, it's okay, God, you don't go with me, send me just to go to the promised land. Anyway, God will send angel. I'll send angel. No, I don't want angel, I want you. That's what Moses says. David says what? 7 times a day, I worship and praise the Lord. Right? And not just that. What he said, don't take your spirit away from me. Why do you think David need God's presence more than anything? Why he didn't say, don't take my kingdom, don't take my money, don't take this, but don't take your spirit away from me. He was surrounded with a lot of fire in his life. His father rejected him. His brother bullied on him. His father-in-law. How many of you, if you have father-in-law like Saul, try to throw spears to you, you can coming back home still happy? Your dad amazing. He throws spears to me. How many of you will say that? David had a chance to kill Saul. He did not do that. If you have parent-in-law like that, you send your father back home, please. I'll pay all the ticket and I'll give you $10,000. It's okay. I'd rather him to go rather than stay with me. Right? He didn't do that. His wife mocking him. His son, Absalom, wants to kill him. You know, how many of you fathers here? Okay. If your father, one day your children, I want to kill you, Dad. You gone, basically. You done as a father. It's like, why you have to live anymore? My own son tried to kill me. That's Absalom. Not just that. Ridiculously, Absalom slept with David's wife in the public. Let me repeat. You say what, all right? So, Absalom purposely slept with David's wife, stepmother, just to humiliate David. Not in the private, in the public. It's written in the Bible. But yet, David don't kill any one of them. If David can kill Goliath, he can kill all of those enemies. But he is not. Where is his peace coming from? I find rest in God. Amen. I want you today to meditate the word. If you don't have peace, you have money, but you don't have peace. I can tell you so many stories. The people that I know from Indonesia, they are very wealthy, very rich, that I know personally. But many of them, it's under medication because they cannot sleep. They don't have peace, have everything. But I know someone that have a cancer stadium 4. She even amazingly peaceful and joyful. Everyone that have God and strong relationship with God, even into the point of that, they still have peace. Stephen just lift up to heaven. Under close death experience, I give up my spirit because he has relationship with God. Today, being in the church doesn't guarantee you have a relationship with God. You have to pursue God purposely, just like David, 7 times a day. Now I know why David's still sane, not insane. He can be insane. If I'm in the shoes of David, in the Japanese language called gila, I will be gila. I'll be crazy, insane if I'm just like David surrounded with that. But he's not. His sanity only come, his peace only come in his presence. This church has been known as a worshiper. You have so much luxury in this place, actually. You are trained with one of the best musicians. Pastor, if I pastor you, you don't want to worship next to me. Even clapping a hand, I can be offbeat. When I was in Boston, my congregation says, Pastor, when you clap, let me tell you this, you are all the other way around, everything. When you sing, even Whitney Houston cannot beat you. You can go up a quarter tune, go down quarter tune automatically. Whitney Houston cannot do that. Take the opportunity in this church. In the prayer, I can sense the vibrance of Pastor Sonny here when she pray. At home also, learn to seek God 7 times a day. Connect with God. It will surpass every problem. It says every problem, all trouble, it will surpass on you. And obey, not just believe. The harder it is, obey. I guarantee you, it's hard, but when you obey, peace inside of, like here, that's God's promise, will flow. We live in the broken world. How many of you never hurt someone? Nobody, right? Eventually you hurt someone before, either your wife, your husband, your children, your parent-in-law, even your pastor, right? You probably hurt. Pastor is not immune. How many of you here, never being hurt by someone? Right? Eventually someone can hurt you. So either we hurt someone or someone hurt you. And then what God says, obey. If you don't obey, then you lose peace. But the moment you obey, you forgive, try, forgive. Especially in the workplace, if there is somebody that always bullying, gossiping about you, suddenly you bought them coffee. I love you. Thank you because you make my life better. I forgive you, I bless you, and I won't gonna love you. Even though you hurt me more, don't worry, I'm gonna take it all. I guarantee you walk smile, full of peace, all over the place. Amen? Let's pray. Father, I pray, Lord, in the name of Jesus right now. Heavenly Father, I don't know what the struggle that they have. I want to surrender and dedicate their life unto your hand. You're the God of a healer. You're the God of restorer. So far, they don't have peace in their life. Probably they believe in Jesus, they confess in Jesus, but one thing they forgot, that they forgot to obey God. They think obedience is for God. Now you have to switch your mind. Obedience is for you, not for God. And today, if you commit yourself, wants to learn to obey God, I want you to put your hand in your chest. Number two, if you commit, starting from now on, you want to develop a relationship with God. Wherever you go, you want to listen to the music that is worshiping God. You want to worship God all over the place. Father, you see every hands in their chest. I've done my part to speak the truth, but the truth will set them free. In the name of Jesus, I want to surrender and dedicate them all unto your hand. We believe the power of the word. The word has so much power that will break the ground. Every hurt, every bitterness, all will be completely gone in your presence. And starting from today, they'll be set free because the truth has been delivered, and the truth shall set your people free. In the name of Jesus. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Jesus. I would like to give to Pastor Billy.